Good evening, everybody. Thanks for attending the meeting for Planning Committee on Tuesday the 5th of March 2024. My name's Councillor Hugh Molyneux. I'm Chair of the committee. Councillor Hilton's Vice Chair. Please note the meeting's being streamed live on YouTube. If you're in attendance as a member of the public who's registered to speak, you'll have a time limit of up to 3 minutes. Legal officer will operate a stopwatch and confirm when your time runs out. You should then finish, or if you're in the middle of making a point, wind up and finish speaking, otherwise your microphone will be muted. To assist in the following the evening's proceedings, a pack's been prepared and available online, containing each report, plans, presentation, slides and any addendum. After officers have presented the report and speakers have made the comments, I'll invite members to speak. When you wish to speak, please raise your hand, and when invited to speak, remember to use your microphone, even though I might not, and reference the paragraph number that allows everyone to follow. Please keep in mind that some people require closed captions and are lip reading to follow proceedings, so please speak slowly and clearly and try and keep your hands away from your mouth. Please can everyone ensure their phones are turned to silent. We're not expecting a fire drill, so if the alarms sound, please exit the way you came in. Apologies. I've had apologies for Councillor Ainsworth and Councillor Samir Khan. Councillor Lees is in attendance as a substitute for Councillor Khan. Declarations of any interest. Members are reminded of their responsibility to declare any pecuniary interest in respect of matters contained in the agenda. If you have a pecuniary interest, you must withdraw from the meeting. Normally, you should leave the room before the business starts to be discussed, but you do, however, have the same right to speak as a member of the public and may remain in the room to enable you to exercise that right and then leave immediately. In either case, you must not seek to improperly influence the decision. Item 2, the minutes of the 6th of February. Could somebody move those, please? Thank you. They're seconded. Thank you. All those in favour, please show. Thank you. We have 2 items to discuss tonight. The third, item 3C, has been withdrawn. For the benefit of the public here tonight, the speaking arrangements for the planning applications as follows. The officers will summarise the report. Speakers will be invited to speak in the following order: objector, supporter, parish attend councillor, ward councillor, applicant or agent. All registered speakers will be allowed to speak for 3 minutes, apart from a ward councillor who may speak for up to 5 minutes. In the event that all speakers are against an application, as chair, I will grant the applicant or representative a time extension. I would respectfully ask members of the public who have not registered to speak to remain quiet throughout the proceedings. Moving on. Item 3A, Riley Green Marina. There's an update on your addendum. The recommendations remain the same, but with conditions included. Ian's going to present this item. I have one registered speaker, the applicant Leslie Yates. Ian, over to you.
Thank you, Chair. This application seeks planning permission for the use of land as an outdoor activity centre and wedding and events venue, the erection of a teepee and retention of buildings for storage and food preparation, and the retention of a toilet block building. The application site is located in the Greenbelt at Horton and already operates as an outdoor activity centre and wedding and events venue, with a teepee that's allowed to be in situ for 5 months of the year. In considering matters of principle, the framework sets out that the development of new buildings in the Greenbelt shall be regarded as inappropriate, subject to a number of exceptions. The proposed development has the potential to engage with the exception to inappropriate development that supports facilities for outdoor sport and recreation. However, this exception is on the proviso that any development must preserve the openness of the Greenbelt and not conflict with the purposes of including land within it, whilst the wedding venue would not fall within this exception. Any new buildings in this location would inevitably have an impact on openness, as the site was free from development or buildings other than the teepee for a temporary period of time prior to the building subject to this application being erected. As the development fails to preserve openness, it does not comply with any of the exceptions to inappropriate development in the Greenbelt and is therefore harmful by definition. As the development would result in definitional harm to the Greenbelt, there would have to be very special circumstances to justify the grant of planning permission that would outweigh this harm. The applicant has advanced a number of benefits in support of the development. The benefits are set out in the report and centre around the need to diversify the operations of the business in order to maintain a sustainable level of income generation and to secure the long-term viability of this tourism-focused enterprise. Whether or not these benefits amount to the very special circumstances necessary to outweigh the harm to the Greenbelt and other harm is a matter of planning judgment and is for the decision taker to determine. In this instance, members will note that the Planning Committee previously concluded that the need for the diversification of this particular business in this specific location amounted to very special circumstances that on balance outweighed the substantial harm to the Greenbelt. Given the somewhat modest magnitude of the impacts of the proposal on the openness of the Greenbelt and similar benefits of diversification and expansion that will be achieved, it's anticipated that the committee would maintain the view that such benefits would result in very special circumstances that on balance outweigh the substantial harm to the Greenbelt. It's therefore considered that the proposed development will be acceptable in principle. The development will be located a significant distance from residential properties, whilst the activities carried out from the site would remain similar to those that currently take place. As such, there will be no unacceptably detrimental impact on the amenity of residential occupiers as a result of the proposed development, subject to conditions limiting the hours of operation and limits on the noise from music. All of the matters are considered to be acceptable and set out in detail within the committee report. Overall, the proposed development is considered to be in accordance with the provisions of the National Planning Policy Framework and the policies of the Development Plan, and the application is recommended for approval, subject to the conditions set out in the addendum. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Ian. Have I got Leslie Yates? Okay, do you want to speak? To speak now, yeah. Don't forget to switch your microphone on. On. You have a red light. If you press the button.
Okay, thank you. In 2006, Raleigh Green Marina was a derelict and site left to wreck and ruin. Canal boat cruises regenerated and transformed the marina and the area into a thriving place to visit, enjoy the waterways and countryside. Along with the teepees, we welcome over 15,000 visitors each year, employ 30 staff who all live locally and contribute to the local economy. There's been a significant downturn in boating business over the last 6 or 7 years due to canal closures, COVID, and the state of the derelict site of the boatyard inn, creating huge implications on profitability. All businesses need to progress and respond to change. This business needs to adapt and diversify. We were granted planning permission for the teepees during the summer months to operate as a wedding events venue and support water and land-based activities. This proposal is for the site to be used for outdoor sport and recreation over the remainder of the year, including archery, cycling, outdoor boot camp style classes, forest, bushcraft skills, waterborne paddle boarding, canoeing, open water swimming in our small lake and water awareness activities. We currently work with a number of organisations and charities to provide these activities. Toilets, disabled and baby changing facilities and food preparation areas make the site more accessible to schools, youth groups, the elderly and mobility impaired who require certain standards of facilities. This will bring greater opportunities for these groups to the outdoor sports and recreation activities. We all know the benefits of spending time and doing activities outdoors, particularly on our mental health. I personally am a triathlete and have suffered terribly with my mental health over the worrying last few years. It is only by training outdoors that I have been able to suppress this condition. Some of the children and adults who visit have never had the opportunity to engage in any of these outdoor activities. The storing of equipment and having permanent facilities will avoid the need to continuously transport equipment and facilities to the site, providing sustainability and cost savings. This family business has worked passionately and tirelessly to create, a vibrant business whilst protecting the heritage and the environment that provides so many social and economic benefits to the area. The project is needed to protect the future of the business and the area for generations to come. It would be such a shame for Chorley to use one of the oldest working boatyards on the Leeds-Liverpool Canal. Chorley welcomes over 3.6 million visitors each year who spend £182 million. Rural tourism makes a huge contribution and supports rural economies, enabling them to thrive and prosper. Yeah, this project supports the aspirations set out in the Lancashire Visitor Economy Strategy, and the Rural Development Programme for England has invested over £100,000 in this project. I would kindly ask that Chorley Council support this business.
Thank you. Over to you, councillors. Councillor Southern.
Thank you, Chair. Well, as somebody who lived on the canal for a great number of years, I'm on the Leeds-Liverpool Canal actually. I'm a very canal fan. This is a thriving business, and I think they made the case for the amount of people they employ, the amount of visitors bring us to the area, and I think it's a good idea. But I'm pleased to see that they've complied with what we've suggested, and I see no issue with this application, Chair.
I agree with Councillor Southern there. It seems it's a thriving business. It offers a lot to the local area, and certainly in an area that's like I say, been derelict before. And so the amendments they've made have actually have given amenities for disabled people and obviously children as well, to go and take up that, certainly from the schools in the area. That have a lot of deprived children. It's a great opportunity, so I would support the application.
Thank you. Councillor Whitaker.
Just no great dissent from what's been said, but just wanted to clarify two questions. There's a reference here to impact on residential amenity. How far away from the site are those residential residents? And secondly, is there a time limit in terms of evening times, finishing times, Chair? Thank you.
Ian.
Thanks, Chair. Through you. The nearest residential properties are located 180 and 250 metres away from the site, so it's quite a substantial degree of separation from the application site. There are conditions set out in the addendum. One of them sets a time limit by which any reproduction or playing of music should cease, and that's by midnight on any night, and that the guests must vacate the site by 12:30 on any given evening.
Okay.
Thanks, Chair.
Any more comments?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Just to clarify, the conditions on the addendum are slightly different to what the ones in the virtual pack. Do the ones in the virtual pack still apply? I'm looking at condition number 4.
Through you,
Yeah.
Chair, just to clarify, there is only one set of conditions, so I'm not sure.
Sorry?
There's only one set of conditions.
Yeah, I'm just looking on suggested conditions in the virtual pack near the end. So no development shall take place, including any works or demolition, blah, blah, blah. 24, that one isn't in the addendum.
I think that's reference to a different application.
Am I? Oh, sorry, I do beg your pardon, I'm on the wrong one here. Yep, do apologise. Yep.
Okay. Anybody else wish to comment? If not, I'll move to the vote. Sorry. Hang on.
Sorry, I mean, through you, Chair, I'm getting slightly confused because the addendum does refer to this application, does refer to Riley Green Marina, and it says the recommendation remains as per the original report. The following conditions are recommended. So I don't. Is there any change or is no?
Okay? Right, can we move to the report now? To the vote, please. Councillor Lees, you've not voted.
Yes, through you, Chair. The application has been granted. There was all the votes were in favour of approval, apart from one abstention.
Thank you. Right. Moving on. Item 3B, the Imperial. The officer recommendations remain the same. Adele's going to present this item. Planning permission is granted subject to conditions. I have 3 registered speakers. The objector, Elizabeth Dickinson, the ward councillor, Aaron Beaver, and the agent, Tom Clark. Adele, over to you.
Thank you, Chair. The application site is located within the settlement of Chorley on the northern side of Union Street at the junction with Vellery Street. And the existing building is a 2-storey building with a single-storey element to the rear, and it was last used as a public house. This application now seeks planning permission for the change of use of the public house that has residential accommodation above to 9 apartments comprising 8 one-bedroomed apartments and 1 2-bed apartment. No consultees have objected to the proposal. The application site is located within the settlement area of Chorley as allocated within policy V2 of the Chorley local plan, where the principle of new development is supported. The loss of the community facility has been justified within the committee report, as there are a number of pubs within a short walk of the application site, and the building has been unoccupied for some several months now. The proposal would not result in a harmful impact to the local highway network, and furthermore, given the sustainable location of the proposal close to the train station and bus stops, and the lack of off-street parking is considered to be acceptable in this instance. The application does not propose any extension to the building, but does seek to change some of the windows facing Vellery Street to white UPVC to match the existing. There will be no impact on the host building or the surrounding locality as a result of the proposal, and as such it is considered to be acceptable in this regard. It's considered that the proposal would not adversely affect the level of amenity enjoyed by nearby occupiers and would provide an acceptable standard of living accommodation for future occupiers of the development. It is recommended that the application is approved subject to conditions. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Adele. Have I got Elizabeth? Oh, I've got Elizabeth down here. Okay. Are you registered to speak? Because you're not on my list, you see. I've got Elizabeth Dickinson.
If I could assist, Chair, I think Elizabeth registered, but she did indicate that her husband.
Her husband is, well, I've not got that information, sorry. Okay. Can you switch your microphone on?
I have.
Oh, is it on?
We're worried because of the parking concerns to start with mainly, because there'll be a possibility of at least another 9 cars, and parking on Valley Street is always very difficult as it is. We've short of parking spaces already, so another 9 possible vehicles up to possibly 20 will make life very difficult. Plus, is this supposed to be for planning permission? Because the work has already started on the building and has been so for at least 6 months. That's more or less, well, apart from we didn't get the letter about. But it's just that the letter about this meeting didn't come to us till yesterday. That's me.
Adele will come back to you.
Thank you. Through you, Chair, a couple of things to pick up. Yes, it is. I understand that some internal works are being done within the building, and any work that is done at risk in advance of planning permission being granted. At this stage, it's until this application has been determined by committee, it would be premature to pursue any kind of enforcement action. With regard to the letters notifying residents of the meeting, we do encourage local residents to submit all their representations through the website. And then when we notify residents about the meeting, it's via email that is generally sent out. It would have been last week. Where residents and neighbouring occupiers submit representations via letter, then we do send out a letter, and we are at the mercy of the postal service, I'm afraid. So sometimes it is regrettable, but correspondence does arrive, you know, fairly close to the committee date, and this is why we encourage everybody to submit through the website online to get a more speedy notification of the committee date. Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to speak in support of this application and request the members to approve the recommendation for a change of use. This type of accommodation is in short supply in Chorley and is much needed. It's in a suitable provision and it's perfect for a town centre location. And as regards the parking, we know that there's no parking, and people that went to the pub didn't have any parking. So I don't think parking is going to, if someone's going to go there with 3 cars, or somewhere where there's no parking, they're going to make an error. Paratem mentioned that the loss of amenities. Well, we know that this pub hasn't done very well for the last few years, either through management, its clientele, and it's been closed. So it's not made a lot of money recently. The drinking culture in Chorley has changed, and no one likes to see a pub closed down. But if it's going to close down, it's best to use it appropriately, and I think this is a good use of it. The drinking culture in Chorley has changed. It's gone to smaller places, more have opened up. And the precedent has already been set because there's quite a few pubs around Chorley, particularly up on Eves Lane, that have done exactly the same. We mentioned that there's no external extension, so it's going to look pretty much the same as it does now, so it's not going to be an eyesore. There's no unacceptable adverse impact, and more likely to improve the area than to drag it down. So I request that you support the officer's recommendation to approve a change of use for this accommodation.
Thank you, Councillor Beaver. Have I got Tom? Okay.
Check.
Hi, I'm Thomas Clark, Development Director, Commercial Director for Arlington Property Group, which is the applicant. And just to reiterate, yeah, basically on what Councillor Beaver has said for the grant of approval. When we initially purchased the building, which we've only owned for 3 months, we looked at the financial aspect of bringing it back into community use. The building was unsafe, the electrics were unsafe, the actual internal structures was falling down, which is why you might have seen some works, but all they are is sort of propping up works and keeping the building safe and watertight at the minute, until the application was granted or refused. Looking at the financials to bring it back into community use, it just didn't outweigh, and it just didn't add up for us as a company. So then we looked at, well, change of use to housing on sort of a full scheme, which we thought, this being a great spot, being in the town centre, we put the application in relation to sort of the highways, and they've come back with, obviously, I know you had a disagreement on the parking issue, but we thought being town centre, it wouldn't have a massive impact on that. And yeah, we looked at currently the council don't get business rates from this community use, being empty for 18 months, been advertised. As you well know, rateable values for pubs are based on income and turnover. So we thought if we turn it into residential, you've effectively got 9 council tax coming into the borough, as well as looking at the housing stock. So we just hope you look favourably on the application, and we're looking to turn what is currently an eyesore into a predominant fixture in the town centre.
Okay, thank you. You want to come back on anything or all right? Okay, members, I've got Councillor Snow and Councillor G.
I support this application with a degree of reluctance, as being somebody that's enjoyed the facilities of the Imperial in the past. The pub has had quite a checkered history. Sometimes it has done quite well under good management, but generally that's been a rare occurrence in my 40 years of drinking in Chorley. I think this is a good use of the building. Yeah, there are problems with parking in Chorley, but nobody's going to move into that accommodation without if they've got if they need to park a vehicle without thinking of the solution for that. It is well placed. It's 100 yards of the bus station and 150 yards the railway station and all the exciting things that are in Chorley town centre. So I think we should support this, and it does bring much needed accommodation into the town centre.
Councillor G.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Nobody likes pubs going, but it's the way of the time now that they do, and I fully support this. One of the reasons I do support it is that it's actually got 2-bedroom apartments, which is a lot of the buildings in Chorley it's lacking the usually 1-bedroom apartments, and this one's got 2. And I would like to see more 2-bedroom apartments being converted in Chorley, and because there is a need for those, so I fully support it. Can I just ask how many 2-bedrooms will there be and how many 1-bedrooms?
Yeah, through you, Chair. As I said in the presentation, there's 8 1-bed and 1 2-bed. Yeah.
Okay. Councillor France, Councillor Southern.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, as Councillor Beaver says, we've passed a number of these accommodations near the town centre with a cycle store. I don't have a problem with this.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, as has been already referred to, Chair, it is a shame to see a public house close. But in this case, I think it's making a good use of what's ostensibly a derelict building. I take the point that's been raised about traffic issues with that, but don't forget these particular type of apartments in its proximity to the town centre. It's also going to encourage people that don't necessarily have a car. So the car argument on balance, I don't think racks, to be honest with you. And like I said, I'm all for this. My only caveat would be obviously a suitable construction and management plan because of its proximity to the town centre. Thank you.
Thanks, Chair. I mean, the concern I have, which the objector made reference to, was parking, and 9 apartments is 9 cars. And where are they going to park? Feller Street is full whenever I drive down there. There's no other convenient stuff, and I think it might be a significant inconvenience to the people that live adjacent to it.
Any comments?
Would it be possible to seek for permits? Because obviously I live right in the centre of town and we have to have permits to actually park there. It's always busy. You know, maybe that might be a solution to have so many permits for residents in Vellery Street or in that sort of zone. I don't know. But it just maybe a solution.
Okay. Adele.
Yeah, again, through you, Chair, the Local Highway Authority have raised no objections and haven't advocated that would be a solution. And just to reiterate, really, you know, parking standards are generally a maximum standards, and, you know, policy does allow for a deviation from maximum standards in sustainable locations. And given that this is a town centre location, then, you know, it's probably one of the most sustainable locations in the borough. Thank you, Chair.
No more comments. I'll move to the vote, please.
Yes, Chair, that's a unanimous vote in favour of the recommendation to grant approval.
Okay, thank you. Okay, if anybody's just come for that item, if they want to go, they can, but we've only one other item on the agenda. It's up to you. Item 4 is the appeals report. Is that you, Adele?
That's me. It's for noting the only appeal decision that I just want to pass comment on very briefly is the one for land west of Gledhill House Gardens on Daubers Lane, which proposed 11 self-build houses in the Greenbelt location, and that appeal was dismissed. And members will note that that is a major decision that has been dismissed. That's the only comment I want to make.
Councillor Platt.
Sorry, I jumped in before you then. Another clean slate for the officers, I think, in defending all these cases, and particularly about the Gledhill, because that was purely 100% green belt, not even any sheds or anything to be knocked down. It was purely a green belt field. Thank you.
Thank you. No more comments? All those happy to accept the report, just show. Thank you. With that, I've no urgent business, so I'll close the meeting and thank you for your attendance. Have a safe journey home. We didn't quite beat the record.